Hello my fellow Earthlings, it is time for another Patreon giveaway. And I actually had this painting for a while, so just to catch up I decided to make this into a Patreon giveaway. And there's also already a video of the full painting process on my YouTube channel, which there'll be a link to after this video. And I will just pick a number, pick a person, and it's very bright. Okay. Yeah, there you can more see it. See how it's quite a nice painting. So what I do, as I usually do, I just put my, there is all my patrons, so I just do like this. And pick one. And the winner is Trond Magne something. I guess I'm gonna find him. Trond Magne here something. Okay, Trond Magne here. You have won a painting from Knut Andre Vikshåland's studio and hand. And this is a time-lapse video of the whole process with audio commentary. And it would be great if you actually share my videos with your friends and give them a thumbs up and leave a comment, put them into your playlists. Yeah, and keep watching. There will soon be out more Patreon giveaways. This one is actually for May, so I'm quite out of whack because of my hip replacements. The last one I did is now almost 3 weeks ago, and the progress is good. I did some mistakes, trained too hard, and I had to slow down because I almost got an infection, but I think it's okay now. So until next video, stay cool and see you. Okay, here we go. I start as usual with darkened canvas with raw umber and turpentine, so it kind of dries into the gesso. It's kind of absorbed in. I like to keep it quite dry in the beginning, and I also work basically directly from the tube or from a palette without much medium in it when I do. As you see, I start with the light areas and I add more of the dark, and then I just start adding more and more color. Getting it kind of approximately right is really a good thing. As I noticed when I do paintings that the worst things that can happen when I do still lifes like this is that I actually, I do some mistake with the drawing, and later when I get further out into it I have to start to correct mistakes that can be quite frustrating and should be avoided. So try to sketch as correct as possible, but also keep it loose, keep it simple, and just enjoy the ride. It is basically like music at this point, and doesn't demand that much effort for me anyway. I just I have, at this level, I have quite a good control over it, and it's very impressionist and as I said, loose. It's kind of instant gratification. It is a high dopamine dance where I really feel great and everything is fine and this is not gonna be a problem, and but it usually doesn't last, because the deeper I go, the more difficult it gets, and that is a very good thing. That is how it's supposed to be. If you only want to do sketch-like paintings, you will never actually get into the substance of it. I always compare the painting, the object painting, with basically making a portrait of an object. And I succeed or fail in comparison to how close I can get to the original object. So, yeah, you see here I just add more, and there's that cliche. I call it a cliche because it's kind of the thing that makes the brain say, ah, it's an apple. We have all these symbols in our heads, and that's also what you have to avoid, because it's very easy to create something that looks like an apple, but it might only be symbols, and you actually want it to be that apple. I'm not a photorealist in any form. You see, okay, here I put on the retouche vernis, and then I probably waited a while, and then I put on the glaze, which is the medium I use is 70% turpentine and 30% linseed oil, cooked linseed oil, and I put that on top of the retouche vernis, and it becomes kind of sticky, so the colors kind of sticks to the canvas when I start painting over it. The good thing here is that the colors I have in the glaze, which is French ultramarine and craplac, or alzarine as it's called, mixes in with a new color I put on. So it gives me kind of a good surface to work on. If I only use the turpentine or the medium and don't have the don't put on the retouche vernis first, I think it becomes a little bit too slippery, so I can't really get the color to stick to the surface, and it can be really frustrating. Of course, as you go along with a whole for many hours on a piece of this, it starts to stick, but I figured out it was much better to do it that way. I have figured out these things myself, so if anyone have any other ideas how they would like to do it, you can comment in comments and tell me how you do it. It would be nice to hear from you. Now, every painting like this, I like to compare them with like throwing a piece of wood into the sea and let it kind of jump around for a few years, and you find it the elements have given this new piece of wood identity, or not identity but personality in a way. Every time the elements touches this wood, it kind of starts to mold it and create it into some very dynamic and natural shape, and that is because of chaos and time and the rules of nature. And when you paint on a painting for a long time, you're not just adding your own personality into it, you're also adding time and chaos, and it's like every time you touch it, you add a piece of yourself or a choice you make. And all these choices can be in a way compared to how the sea has formed the driftwood. Of course, the sea is not conscious as you are, but also the painting process on the flow level is usually not really conscious, it's more automatic. So because if you're conscious all the time and thinking about every choice you make, you tend to become quite stiff and not dynamic. Now, despite that, as I go along and I start to get closer and closer and closer to the finish, the more difficult it gets, and I start doing more conscious choices in relation to all the other choices I made earlier, right? Then as the pencils get smaller and smaller, the brush strokes get smaller and smaller, and you have to sometimes stop to just think, okay, where am I going now? How I'm going to be able to create something natural out of this. I also have this thing, I use a lot of bright colors, so it's very hard for me to get this shall we say photorealistic look into them. Plus I have also a skill wall. I'm not classically thought. I teach myself to paint basically. So this is also why my paintings tend to become honest. I can see that what I do becomes honest. It's no bullshit, you know. I show my weaknesses and my strength, and yeah, put it upside down. That's quite cool, because when you have actually reached the point where you are starting to really get the shape right and you turn it upside down like that, you can actually see that you also painted in gravity. So and the object is kind of pushed up when you turn it upside down, because you have painted in the fact that it falls down or stands on this thing. That is what gravity is about. Everything falls towards everything all the time, and the bigger the mass, the more it falls. And that is why, of course, objects that we drop can reach a finite speed within the laws of nature. It's quite interesting, actually. Physics is very interesting if you learn something about it, or the laws of nature, because it can be related to everything you do as a painter. Say you are working with a landscape, to understand how plants grow and the laws that they have to abide to can be very useful when you want to try to paint a tree or something natural, because there are certain things that just can't happen in nature. It always has to abide by these laws, and it does. And so it goes for colors. They always have to follow the color circle. Wherever you are in the universe, it would be the same thing. Maybe there would be more blue or more red or more green or more compared to what elements are close by, or what kind of structure or elementary structure a star has to sense out this light. But it would be the same color circle anyway, just a little bit touch more of oxygen or iron or carbon or whatever. So yeah, it's quite interesting. That's why I love science so much, because it explains reality, and also it explains why time is so important to create a painting that feels natural and true. And for me, truth is very, very important. There are many painters who are really, really good, but it's almost like they aren't able to put their own personality into it, because it's all about skill. And it has to be some struggle there, some uncertainty that gives it that, shall we say, that really pushes you. Like when I do these things here, I start to try to make it stand right and stuff. I struggle so hard, because here this is the level where I start meeting my skill wall, and I can't really get it right, and I try again and again and again and again, and I screw it up, and then I try again, and usually I manage to save it, It has happened that I have come to a point where I just can't get it right and I dump it, but usually I just keep on going until I think it's okay, or I actually don't have the skills to keep going. Yeah, it would be very nice if you comment on what I'm saying in this video or in my time-lapse videos. Do you prefer that I play music, or do you prefer that I comment like I do now? What would you like to see? I'm wondering about doing streaming, like long 10-hour streams where I can engage with you, the viewer. And yeah, now I'm trying to to sign it, and always a problem because that too, I can't really get it right. I have to find the right spot, I have to find everything, and I hate it. I just can't get it right. I'm also dyslexic. I write with both my hands, but and I write with both my hands actually, but I write horribly with both of them, so it's quite funny to be me actually. I have a strange brain. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching this video, and this is a Patreon giveaway, so if you want to be a part of my Patreon family and support my artwork and my videos, you are happy to do so. And you can also add me on Facebook then, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, you see some details and textures and some close-ups. It's quite yellow, but it's better in reality actually. Stay cool. Hello, and thank you for watching the whole video. I just want to say that the full name of the winner of the Patreon giveaway is Trond Magne Heggelund, and he's gonna get this painting in his mail. I try here to film it correctly, but it's quite hard because the yellow colors tend to fuck with the digital camera. You can't really get it right, but anyway, he's gonna get it and he's gonna see it in reality, so that's a good thing. Now remember to share and subscribe, and there is a link to the original video there, and there's a playlist there, and to my Patreon, and subscribe. So with this, stay cool. There's more coming, figure paintings, all kinds of paintings, so stay tuned and put on the notification bell. It's very important. Okay.